Welcome back, troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Oh my goodness, what has happened to this thing? Man, doesn't that title just tell you everything? Alright, so this Flying V showed up on Reverb, what was it? 3 days ago. I saw it as soon as it was listed. But before we do the complete rundown of this guitar, I want you to see exactly how I saw it, because not all of these photos were uploaded right away, and I forgot to check up on this guitar an hour or so later to see if new photos had been added, because the price seemed intriguing. So here's what I first saw. This was the leading photo. You've got a Gibson Flying V. That's a very iconic 80s looking Gibson headstock. You can see you've got the Schaller Keystone style tuners. Unfortunately, we are missing the truss rod cover. Somebody has added some sort of a locking nut, which is missing all the locking mechanisms. But hey, our truss rod's looking good. There's not a bunch of threads sticking out, so it's got plenty of adjustment room left. And apparently somebody has 3 arrows on the top for some reason. That's just customization. Okay, so far so good. Next shot, beautiful ebony fretboard. So far still looking like a cool 80s Flying V. Mother of pearl dot inlays. The frets don't appear to have like any crazy wear. So again, another photo, no major sins have been seen. Okay, so we've got some sort of a super headstock break. But how many pieces is this neck? You can see 1, 2, potentially 3, and it appears we actually have some figuring flamed maple here. But yet, when we get here, it almost looks like it's a completely different piece of wood crafted on because the wood grain goes across the entire thing. So I'm not sure, did they replace the headstock? Because something seriously went on there, and it does not look like the best repair in the world. Okay, but at $900, that's almost priced appropriately. And then we get to the rest of the neck. Now, I could not make heads or tails out of this shot. I couldn't see if we were seeing the back of the neck, the side profile view, some weird angle that I couldn't figure out. And what was throwing me off is because we have these 2 lines here. It's like, what is going on here? So after my second look at this, I realized what had happened here. Okay, so all our finish is missing off the neck, right? This is your truss rod. Somebody sanded way through that, which means your neck is complete toast. You can't adjust that anymore, or else you'll crack the rest of the neck. And then this line right here is what you see of the edge of the fretboard. Okay, yeah. $900. I really don't see it. I don't see it at all, but this flame maple had me curious. Is this not a regular alder Flying V of the 80s? And as soon as I looked back here, I knew exactly what this was. It's a Gibson The V. And it originally would have looked like this. They actually have a flame maple cap to them. They've got a maple body. They've got the maple neck, the ebony fretboard. It was basically Gibson's response to the Deans that were getting popular at the time because, I mean, they're very, very similar here because you got the binding on the top, you got the flames and or quilts. These are actually pretty valuable guitars. I mean, we're talking anywhere between $18 to $3,000. And then I see that to install that locking nut, somebody drilled through the back. It's like, oh man, but at least we still have the finish right here, right? Because these tuners right here, they're worth at least $100. I usually sell them for $130, so after fees and shipping, easily $100. We've got our serial number intact. We can see that it's not just some weird grafted on piece of wood. You can see the rest of the 3 pieces. And from this angle, that headstock repair looks way better than it did all the way back here. It's like, that's not even the same guitar. Where is that on the guitar? Is that not even part of this instrument? Oh my goodness. I see it now. That's the neck into the body. Oh, I did not see that the first time. I thought that was the headstock. So that means, oh, wow. Yeah, that's definitely more of a project. I do not regret not buying this guitar now that I realize that. So not only a headstock break, but also a heel break. Then the only other photos that were here were this back control plate, and this is what secured the deal for it being a The V. Because remember, again, it's a whole maple body. At $900, I was like, that's like right on the line of, you know, it might be worth it. Because I was thinking Trade Tuesday on this thing because it's a really high-end model and somebody would have loved this project depending on how much of a basket case it was. But I did not have any photos of the front to go off of or base any of this judgment on. So I didn't know anything about the pickups. I didn't know the condition of the front of the guitar, but thankfully somebody sent me a link to this later on and said, dude, check this out. And he had updated the photos. Not to my dismay, it had already sold, but let's take a look at this thing. Yes, it was indeed a Gibson The V. It was originally a cherry sunburst color. It looks like our knobs had been replaced, the switch tip had been replaced, but somebody installed a Floyd Rose on this thing. And here's a photo I'm seeing for the first time. All right, so they took all the finish off back here. They shaved that heel down as we had just discovered. It looks like strap lock buttons on there, but that's completely routed out for a new Floyd system. And then on the front, they completely sanded it down right here, kind of to give it more of like a Stratocaster feel. You know how they have that little fin there, so your arm's not resting against that hard bound edge. Normally, I would be completely against something like that, but I mean, this one's already trashed anyways, you might as well, right? It's just kind of goofy. You still have your original tailpiece studs here, so if you wanted to take that out and restore it back to original, you could. To make it look good, it would take quite a bit of work. But look at our pickups here. This is still the original one. They came with those double cream Dirty Fingers pickups, and those are worth quite a bit on their own, so that's about 150 bucks right there. So just with the tuners and that pickup alone, you're about 300. I'm not really sure what a Floyd Rose is worth, maybe 50 to 100 bucks. Unfortunately, I can't quite tell what this pickup is, so we can't really put a very good evaluation on that. But then I saw the case. Nice, a late 80s, early 90s case. That's at least worth like 250. So that's $550 just in the parts that I know this thing has. And how much is the husk worth? I could see somebody still paying like $300-400 bucks just to have it as a project. So that is a very conservative estimate of 800 bucks. And once again, how much did they want? $895 plus 50 shipping. So add in all the other parts, I think they definitely had this priced appropriately. Just because they've sanded through to the truss rod, that does not necessarily mean the guitar is trash. It simply means you can't adjust the truss rod anymore. So if you keep it in a humidity controlled environment, don't gig with it, it doesn't change temperatures or humidities a lot, you'll probably be a-okay just playing it as is. Now, as far as buying this and, making some money off of it, probably not. I'm okay with just doing a WYRON on this one. It was too special just to lump into all the other ones for my next compilation video of horribly modified guitars. I could still see this selling for about 1,100 bucks to the very right buyer if you could confirm that everything still semi-what works and the neck is in okay shape as it sits. But that's really pushing it, and that's only because this is a kind of a rare Gibson model. But I would love to review a The V one day, but I'm being really picky. I want to find a particularly nice one. This was for sale by the guitar store at Kemper Sound Records in Port Townsend, Washington. And it looks like if you went to their Facebook page, you could have got it even cheaper, 666 bucks. Now, at that price, I would have been more tempted. So it would have been cool if all the photos would have been there at first, and I could have picked it up for around that, because that would have made a really cool Trade Tuesday episode. Especially if this ended up being like a really high-end Gibson pickup. But this is kind of one of those guitars that has transformed into stage 4. It's so badly mutilated, modified, and whatever. I mean, we didn't even talk about these double triangles here. It's just become fascinating again. So let's go ahead and check out a playing sample of an original The V. The only question left, would you rock this mutilated Gibson The V or not? Leave your answer down in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.